If you have a Nikon D5000 or 3000 model, in this video I'm going to talk about the MH-24 charger and all the things that you shouldn't do so this does not also happen to your charger. So straight out of the box, when you first buy your Nikon charger, especially if it's a D50, 100, 52, 53, 55, and 56, or even any 3000 model, chances are you will use the Nikon MH-24 charger, and there are certain things that you should know straight out of the box. Some of the things are very self-explanatory. For example, you have your battery, you put it in, and you plug it into the wall. And how you know when the battery needs to be charged is that the orange light LED light here will start blinking. Once it fully stops blinking and it is a still light, that means the battery charge is fully charged. And you do not want, tip number one, you don't want to leave your battery charged constantly on the charger into the wall outlet. Once the battery is fully charged, what you want to do is you want to take out the battery and not leave this charger in. Tip number two is to make sure the voltage of wherever you're plugging in matches accordingly within the Nikon guidelines and within its own converter. For example, if your household outputs at 110 volts, then make sure it outputs at 110, because the Nikon charger within itself can be plugged anywhere around the world as long as there's a specific adapter, but it has to be within 110 to 240 volts. So make sure your voltage applies accordingly to the Nikon charger, or like what happened to me is like your charger will eventually overheat, overpower, or have some kind of circuit board issue where there's too much voltage and one of the circuit breaks, and this is what happened to me, and I had to buy a new charger. Tip number three when it comes to having your Nikon D5000 or 3000 charger is that once you plug it in the wall, you want to make sure that the battery sound is almost completely quiet. Because when I bought this Nikon charger, I didn't notice it at first, but it started making a very loud humming or hissing sound, like a squealing sound. And I thought that was normal for the longest time. And it wasn't until the eventually part where I plugged it in, charging my battery, and then I took out the battery and I started smelling the charger. And next thing you know, it has a very a burning toxic smell. And that is when I decided to stop using this charger at the point where it was dangerous and I had to purchase a new charger. So when it comes to using your Nikon batteries, make sure you take care of your Nikon MH-24 battery, because just like the energy when it comes to having the batteries within your camera, you also want to take care of the charger. So just to recap everything, make sure when the battery is charging, let it charge. When it's done charging, take out the battery. Don't have this plugged in all the time into your wall outlet. Tip number two is make sure that the voltage matches accordingly to wherever you live and the converting outlet within here actually works. And listen to the noise. If your charger, Nikon charger, makes any sort of really high-pitched squealing sound, it's time for a new charger. Don't be like me and use this charger and just ignore the fact that it's making a really high-pitched squealing sound. And if it does, then it's time to buy a new charger. And those are my tips, the basic simple tips of how you charge your Nikon battery using the Nikon MH-24 charger. And I would highly recommend you do not purchase any third-party manufactured batteries or chargers, because those, although they might or may not work, chances are you're much better off playing it safe, buying everything manufactured, whether it's your Nikon batteries or your Nikon charger. And my name is Peter. You're watching Broke Visionary Collective, where we all start with nothing, but you can always create something.